Northern Light Webcasting Network, in conjunction with Colfax High School, presents Viking Pregame, a look at today's Colfax Viking boys game. And now, Viking Pregame.
Good evening and welcome to Colfax High School, where tonight the Viking boys, coming off a 56-35 loss to the Bloomer Blackhawks last night, will take on the 1-8 Boyceville Bulldogs. Rick Olson here, and soon I'll be joined by Dan Petchow as we're getting ready to bring you all the play-by-play action of tonight's boys game right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Coming up in this edition of Viking Pregame, we'll take a look at tonight's matchup between the Boyceville Bulldogs and the Colfax Vikings. Then we'll get the perspective from Coach Moss on tonight's game in Coach's Corner. Following that, we'll bring you all the play-by-play action of tonight's game. So get ready to listen to some exciting high school boys basketball. All that coming up right after this brief timeout. You're listening to Viking Pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing, but not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. This breaks my heart, and it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and gives it to families in need. To help, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Rick Olson back here at Colfax High School, where Dan Petchow and I are getting ready to bring you all the action of tonight's boys basketball game between the Boyceville Bulldogs, with a record of 1 win and 8 losses, and 1-4 in the Dunn St. Croix Conference, and the 6-5 Colfax Vikings. The Vikings have a 4-1 record in the Dunn St. Croix Conference and are eager to get back on the winning track, as well as stay right on the heels of the Durand Panthers in the conference race for first place. The Vikings were scheduled to take on the Bloomer Blackhawks last Saturday, but this weekend's snowstorm had other ideas and caused that game to be postponed to yesterday. In that game, the Vikings dropped a 56-35 loss to the Blackhawks. This marked the Vikings' 3rd loss in a row. The only Viking to score in double digits was Cole Seahaver, who put up 12 points. Now, right behind him was Drew Gibson, who added another 8. At 11 games into the season, the leading scorers for the Vikings are Ed Hajdukovic, who's averaging 13 points per game, followed by Seahaver, who's averaging 11 points per game, and Zach Rindy, who's adding an average of nearly 8 points per game. And Gibson is adding another 7.5. In addition, the players coming off the bench are contributing around 14 points per game for the Vikings. Boyceville comes into tonight's game with an overall record of 1 win and 8 losses, 1-4 in the Dunn St. Croix Conference, following their 70-42 loss at the hands of the Spring Valley Cardinals last Thursday. Leading the way for the Bulldogs in that game was 6-foot senior guard Logan Knutson, who scored 17 points. He was followed in scoring by 5'7" senior guard Brendan Sempf, who tallied 15 points. The Bulldogs' lone victory this season was a 34-33 thriller over neighboring Glenwood City back on December 20th. Now, the Vikings are looking to get back on the winning track in order to keep pace in the Dunn St. Croix Conference. On the other hand, the Bulldogs would like nothing more than to upset one of the conference leaders. So the stage is set for some exciting boys high school basketball, and we'll have it all for you right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network. But first, following this timeout, we'll get the coach's perspective as we chat with Viking head coach Garrett Moss on Coach's Corner. You're listening to Viking Pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
Sweet strawberry icing. You're in Goodwill, and just past that vintage denim jacket you spot miniature donut earrings. You lean in. Ah, that's the scent of shopping success. Because at Goodwill, every item you buy funds local job training and more. So bring home those donut earrings and bring home so much good to your community. Goodwill. Bring good home. Brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Time now to see what the coaches have to say. It's Coach's Corner, what they look at tonight's game from the coach's point of view. And now, Coach's Corner.
Well, today we're talking with Viking boys head coach Garrett Moss. And, well, Coach, the Vikings have hit a bit of a rough patch, dropping 3 in a row after winning 4 in a row prior to that. Now, that also includes last night's 56-35 loss to Bloomer. First of all, your comments about last night's game.
Last night, they did a very good job of running their offense, and they were very patient, and they were the more physical and aggressive team last night. And we've hit a cold streak here from a shooting standpoint, so hopefully we can get back on track tonight.
The old adage is, if your shooters are cold, just keep them shooting, and eventually it'll go in.
Yeah, last night I thought we got a lot of good looks. We had a lot of in and outs. They just weren't dropping, and we got to try to get to the rim a little bit more and to the free throw line and try to get our shooting touch back.
Now, in just a few minutes, the Vikings are going to try to stop the leaking when they tip off against the Boyceville Bulldogs. What do the Vikings need to do to stop that skid?
I think we'll have a big advantage tonight inside, so hopefully we can attack the rim, and we want to pound the ball inside a little bit more and then look for our three-point shot coming after the ball's been inside. So, but we got to attack the glass a little better and shore up our defense, and hopefully if we do those things, we'll come out on top.
Now, in spite of this 3-game losing streak, only one of those was in the Dunn-St. Croix Conference. So the Vikings are still right in the race for the title. The Bulldogs, on the other hand, come into tonight's game with a 1-8 record, 1-4 in the conference. And they'd like nothing better than to knock off one of the conference leaders. What do you know about the Bulldogs, and what challenges do they present?
They got 2 guards that shoot the ball extremely well, and they got a little bit of size inside. I think we can. They're 3 and 4 guys. I think we can take advantage of off the dribble and get inside. But we got to keep a high hand on their 2 shooters and control them. And if we tell the boys, all the time, if we can make them shoot shots over the top of us, I like our chances.
Now, who are some of the Viking players that need to step up and make a difference tonight?
They've all been struggling a little bit, taking care of the ball and shooting. So we're hopefully all of them will have a good bounce back game here. So, but we definitely got to establish that inside presence with some of our bigger guys like Ed and Hunter and Drew Gibson, and hopefully we can get them going, and that'll lead to good things.
Well, Coach Moss, good luck on tonight's game. Hopefully the Vikings will find a way to get back on the winning track and push that conference record to 5-1.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Coach's Corner, with a look at tonight's game from the coach's point of view. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
Did you know that some vaccines prevent cancer? I'm Dr. Bill Schaffner of the National Foundation for Infectious Diseases, and I want to talk to you about a vaccine that protects against the most common cause of liver cancer, the hepatitis B vaccine. Hepatitis B virus can stay silent in the body for decades before symptoms develop. Many adults need vaccination, including those up to age 59 with diabetes. To learn more, visit adultvaccination.org. That's adultvaccination.org.
You've been listening to Viking Pregame, with a look at today's Colfax Viking boys game. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Stay tuned. Coming up next is live Colfax Viking basketball.
Hi, I'm Amanda Pete. Like all new parents, my husband and I want what's best for our baby. When it was time for our daughter's immunizations, we wanted the facts. So we carefully researched vaccines. We spoke with doctors and other experts and asked some tough questions. We decided that vaccines were the best thing for our child. I urge you to get the facts. Learn the facts about vaccines so you can make the best healthcare decisions for your family. Thank you.
A message from the American Academy of Pediatrics and vaccinateyourbaby.org.
Man, I love my kids so much. I once sat for 3 hours in the cold rain to watch her soccer team lose by 18 goals.
I love my kids so much, I once used a tube to suck snot out of her stuffed nose at 3 a.m.
You win.
Love your kids? Love them enough to make sure they're in the right car seat. From toddlers to tweens, visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to find the right seat for their age and size. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
First, I hold my hands out like they're on a steering wheel. Then I look over my shoulder. 1, okay, cool guy. 2, 3 times. Next, I put it in reverse. Meep, meep, meep. Then I take it up and down, up and down. And that, kiddos, is called the forklift.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids.
Now that's dancing. sure beats flossing.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Colfax Viking basketball is on the air. The Northern Light Webcasting Network, in conjunction with Colfax High School, proudly presents today's boys Colfax Vikings game. Join us as the 2019-2020 Vikings strive for success in the Dunn-St. Croix Conference. And now back out for coverage of today's boys Colfax Vikings game.
Welcome back to Colfax High School. Rick Olson along with Dan Petchow, and we're ready to bring you tonight's game between the Vikings and the Boyceville Bulldogs, and they're about to introduce the starting lineup, so let's send it down to the scorer's table for that one.
Introducing the starters for the Boyceville Bulldogs. Number 2, the junior, Walker Betts. Number 4, the senior, Brendan Sen. Number 14, the senior, Logan Winston. Number 25, the junior, Don Ralston. Number 34, senior, Dave Mustad. Bulldogs are led by head coach Logan Watson. And now, the second line of your Colfax Vikings.
For the Boyceville Bulldogs, it's Retz, Semp, Knutson, Larson, and Klefstedt. For the Vikings, Rindy, Seehaver, Hajdukovic, Hydorn, and Gibson. Drew Gibson coming off that 24-point performance against Durand last week. It was in a losing effort, but boy, oh boy, he had a hot night.
Yeah, it's good to see him good on track here in this part of the season.
That's when it could count. Okay, they're ready to jump it up. We've got Hajdukovic jumping for the Vikings. And the tip is controlled by the Bulldogs. Knutson brings it down the floor, gets away from him, but he picks it up, comes across the timeline, gets it over to Retz. Retz takes it between the circles over to the right side, fades it off to Larson. Larson out high to Semp. Semp over to Knutson. Knutson takes it into the lane. Now to the right side to Klefstedt. Klefstedt to Knutson. Down into the corner. That's Retz with it, and he gets fouled down there by Zach Rindy for the Vikings. That's his first foul on anybody tonight. Bulldogs inbound it to Knutson. Out high to Semp. Back to Knutson, and then he kicks it out to Klefstedt, who puts it through, and the Bulldogs draw first blood 2-0. Coming down the floor is Hydorn.
for the Vikings. He gets it over to Hajdukovic. Hajdukovic into the lane, tries to slam it home, but he missed the ball and got nothing but rim. And the Bulldogs bring it back down the floor quickly. Knutson with it. He feeds it over to Retz, puts it up, no good. Rebound knocked out of bounds by the Bulldogs, and the Vikings will have it. Cole Seahaver to inbound for the Vikings. Gets it to Heidorn. Heidorn through the center circle. Out high to Gibson. Into the lane to Hajdukovic, and they get it back out to Rindy. Tries to put up a shot, and it does not go in. He goes to the floor, but the Bulldogs come down with the ball. Semp with it. They get it down underneath, and the shot goes up, no good. Rebound battled around. That shot was by Semp, and the Vikings come down with it. Heidorn with it. Feeds it down underneath to Rindy, puts it up and in. Zach Rindy lays it in from the baseline. 2-2, 16:07 to go in the first half. Bulldogs across the timeline. Knutson with it between the circles. Gets it over to the left side. Three-pointer on the way from Semp. It's off the iron, no good. Rebound taken down by the Vikings. Seahaver with it. Feeds it to Rindy down at the right baseline, and the ball gets knocked out of bounds by the Bulldogs. Seahaver to inbound it for the Vikings on the right side. Feeds it underneath to Hajdukovic. Hajdukovic puts it up off the glass and in. Coach said they were going to try to play that inside game and play it high off the boards because they have a height advantage tonight, and Ed Hajdukovic is definitely showing that so far. Bulldogs with it. Knutson feeds it out to, well, it was intended for Semp, but it's picked off by the Vikings, and Seahaver brings it down. Now tries the left baseline, and we have a whistle and a foul being called. That foul is on Retz. It's his first personal. First team foul on the Bulldogs. High pass out to Hajdukovic, who's standing out at the top of the key. Now he drives it into the lane, puts up a shot, and it's in. Ed Hajdukovic plays it off the glass and gets two more. 4 points for Ed. 6-2, Vikings on top. Knutson feeds it off to the right side to Semp for the Bulldogs. Semp takes it out back between the circles. Gets it over to Klefstedt. Now it's to Larson. Larson takes it back out high to Knutson. Knutson to Retz. Retz on the left side to Semp, down in the left corner. Now Retz dribbles it back out high. He's between the circles. Feeds it over to the left side to Knutson. Knutson drives the lane, stops, kicks it out to Klefstedt, puts it up, no good. Rebound taken away by the Vikings. Fed down the floor to Rindy, out to Seahaver. Seahaver with a three, and he put it in. 9-2, Vikings on top. Coming down the floor is Brendan Semp. Feeds it off to the left side to Knutson. Takes it back out between the circles. Now over to the right side. Feeding it over to Larson. His shot is no good. Rebound chased down by Gibson. Gets it to Rindy. Rindy tries to pass it to Seahaver, and he let him just a little bit too much. It went out of bounds, and the Bulldogs will have it. 9-2, Vikings leading the Boyceville Bulldogs with 13:59 to go in the first half. Knutson brings it down the floor. Passes it off to the right side to Larson. Larson back out high to Hazelton, who's in the game. To Semp. Now out to Knutson. Knutson takes it between the circles. Settles things down, tries to direct traffic. Feeds it off to the left side to Larson. Larson back to the free throw line. Over to Klefstedt. Klefstedt down the right side. Tries to put up a shot, and it's knocked out of bounds by Hajdukovic. Hajdukovic on the block. Bulldogs will retain possession. But that was a nice block by Ed Hajdukovic that time.
Yeah, good job.
Totally up on top of the ball. Bulldogs inbound it. It's Knutson out high. Over to Semp on the right side. Semp feeds it down to the right corner to Larson. Larson dribbles it back out high.
Taking it into the lane is Knutson. His shot is no good, and rebound taken down by the Vikings. Seahaver quickly down the floor, gets it to Hajdukovic. Hajdukovic on the right side, feeds it out high to Gibson. Gibson with a three on the way, rims around, no good. Rebound taken down by Hydorn. Gets it over to Hajdukovic, and a 10-foot jumper goes in. 11-2, Vikings on top. Knutson with it on the left side for the Bulldogs. Drives the baseline, puts it up and in. 11-4, Vikings on top. Hydorn takes it down the floor for the Vikings. Stops at the top of the key. Feeds it over to Seahaver on the left. Cross court pass to Hajdukovic. Gives it to Gibson. Gibson tries to drive the lane. Kicks it out to Hydorn. Hydorn into the lane. Kicks it out to Hajdukovic. From the free throw line, Hajdukovic hits it. 13-4, Vikings on top. Semp brings it down, crosses the timeline. Feeds it over to Larson. Larson to Hazelton. Hazelton to Knutson. Back over to Larson. Puts up a shot. No good. Rebound. Taken down by Reback. Hunter Reback into the lineup for the Vikings. Hydorn has it. Gets it over to Seahaver. Seahaver stops at the free throw line. Thinks about it. No. Gets it out to Reback. Reback takes it in the lane, feeds it out to Hajdukovic. 12-footer, goes in. The reason I almost said no good is it didn't touch any rim. It just went straight through the net.
Good job by the senior, 21, Ed Hajdukovic, to kind of hold the team together right now.
Hajdukovic has 10 of the 15 points that the Vikings have as they lead 15-4. Bulldogs have it at the top of the key with Semp. He gets it over to Knutson on the left side. Knutson now at the top of the key, tries to drive the lane. He can't do it. Kicks it out to Hazelton, back to Knutson. He's on the right side. Now takes it down the right baseline. Feeds it over to Semp on the left corner. Semp dribbles it out high. He gets it over to Hazelton. And now Larson has it. And out to Knutson between the circles. Knutson, turnaround jumper from 10. He hit it. 15-6. Vikings up by 9. 10:42 to go in half number 1. Hydorn over to Hajdukovic to Seahaver down in the left corner. Gets it out to Reback. Back down to Seahaver in the left corner. Feeds it into the lane to Hydorn. Almost lost control, but he gets the pass out to Hajdukovic. Puts up a shot, no good. Rebound taken down by Reback. Put back, no good. Rebound kicked out to Hydorn. Over to Hajdukovic. Gibson now has it between the circles. Gibson gets it over to the right side to Hydorn. To Seahaver trying to go into the lane. We have a whistle and a foul. Foul on the Bulldogs. And it's on Brendan Semp. It's his first personal, second team foul on the Bulldogs. So Cole Seahaver to inbound the ball for the Vikings. Gets it into Hajdukovic. Over to Reback. They're swinging it around the outside. Get it to Hallquist. Out between the circles. To Hajdukovic. Feeds it in to Albright. And we have a whistle, and I think Albright stepped on the baseline before he got rid of that ball. So the Bulldogs have it. And coming down the floor is Brendan Semp. Between the circles. Feeds it over to the right side to Knutson. Knutson drives over to the lane. Tries to put it up. Whistle and a foul. The shot does not go in. But Knutson's going to go to the line for 2. Foul is on Seahaver. It's his first personal. Second team foul on the Vikings. Knutson's first shot is up and in. That's 5 points on the night for Logan Knutson. Second shot is in as well. So he's got 6 of the 8 points that the Bulldogs have. So basically this is a game between Logan Knutson and Ed Hajdukovic. Albright with it, gets it over to Reback. To Hajdukovic out high. Over to Hallquist on the right side. Feeds it out to Hydorn on the left side. To Hajdukovic, tries to drive on the baseline, doesn't get it to go, and we have a whistle and a traveling call against the Vikings. Hydorn had it and took an extra step.
Yeah, that's what we like to see from both teams. Their seniors to kind of be the leaders on the team. And Ed is doing a good job right now for Colfax.
Semp brings it down the floor for the Bulldogs. Feeds it over to Knutson on the right side. Knutson drives towards the lane. He's bottled up by 3 people there. They kick it back out high to Retz. Now Knutson has it between the circles over to Retz. Now they take it down the left side. And that's somebody I don't have the number for. Number 22, if you have that other roster that we had. Anyway, we have a 3-pointer that went up and in for the Bulldogs while we were trying to find names and numbers. He's not listed on this roster either unless it's John Klefstadt. And we have Gibson with a 3 for the Vikings. 18-11, Vikings on top, 8:12 to go in the first half. I believe that's John Klefstad.
Okay, number 2.
Number 22, they have him listed as 32 on the other roster. And driving the lane, putting it up for the Vikings, no good, was Hydorn, but he got fouled on the way in. So Hydorn at the line to shoot 2. That foul was on Knutson. It's his first personal. 3rd team foul on the Bulldogs. Hydorn's first shot is good. 19-11, Vikings up by 8. And the second shot's on the way, and it's also good. 20-11. Vikings on top, 7:53 to go in the first half. Retz takes it across the timeline, gets it over to Semp. Semp drives towards the lane, but he took an extra step before he got rid of the ball and turns it over with a traveling call. Vikings have it. Hallquist to inbound it, gets it to Hydorn. Hydorn brings it down the floor to Gibson, high, wide, and left. Over to the free throw line to Reback, and his shot is no good. A little bit wide to the right that time. Goes out of bounds, and the Bulldogs have it. Semp comes down the floor. He's got it between the circles. Feeds it over to the right side to Knutson. Knutson out at the top of the key to Retz. Over to Klefstad. Feeds it back out high to Knutson. Knutson takes it down the right side. Jumper from 8. No good. Rebound. Taken down by Hydorn. Hydorn quickly across the timeline. Gets it to Gibson. Gibson with a long 3 off the front of the iron. No good. Hydorn with the rebound. Albright has it. Drives the lane. Tries to put it up, and he gets fouled on the way in. Noah Albright going to the line for 2. That foul is on Cade Klefstad. We have John and Cade in there right now. Albright's first shot is up and in. So it's another pair we'll have to go with first names.
Yeah.
John is the sophomore, Cade is the senior. Albright's second shot is up and in. And we have nearly wholesale substitutions for the Vikings. 4 in, 4 out. Hydorn's the one who stays in.
Good job by Noah Albright to get to the hole and get the foul and 2 points.
Knutson brings it down across the timeline. Feeds it over to the right side to Retz. Knutson down in the right corner. Dribbles out of trouble. Now he's got it out high, wide, and right. Drives into the lane. We have a whistle and a foul, and I believe they're going to get Hydorn. Nope, I take that back. Foul was on Zach Rindy. It's his second personal, third team foul on the Vikings. And Rindy goes to take a seat as Albright comes back into the lineup. Bulldogs inbound it. Retz has it out high. Gets it to Knutson in the lane. Back out to Retz. He puts up a three and he hit it.
Banked it.
22-14. Vikings up by 8. Hydorn has it. High, wide, and left for the Vikings. Down to Seahaver. Back out high to Sikora. Sikora has it between the circles. Over to Hydorn on the left side. Now back out to Sikora. Sikora takes it over to the right side. Out to Seahaver. Out high. Feeds it to Hydorn on the left. Gets it to Hajdukovic. Hajdukovic thought about driving. Turns around. Comes back out. Gets it to Albright out high. Albright takes it right down the middle of the lane. Stops there. Tries to get it to Hajdukovic. And we have a whistle and a foul. I think it was a kick ball.
Colfax is trying to work the ball inside, and they have to pay attention to number 34, Cade Clefstead. He's a big kid in there.
Hydorn with it out high between the circles. Takes it down the left side all the way underneath and does a reverse layup, and it's good. Noah Hydorn makes it a 10-point lead for the Vikings, 24-14. Knutson with it for the Bulldogs. He's on the right side of the lane, and they're going to say a foul on the floor. It was either going to be a foul or a travel because he took an extra step in there. Foul is on Albright. It's his first personal. Fourth team foul on the Vikings. Inbound it to Semp. Over to Knutson from the right side. He put up a three and hit it. Boyceville starting to find the range from three. 24-17, Vikings on top. Hajdukovic with it, out high, wide, and left. To Seahaver. Out to the free throw line to Hydorn. To Albright, drives into the lane, and we have a foul being called against the Bulldogs. That'll be the fifth team foul on the Bulldogs. The foul was called on John Clefstead. Sikora comes out for the Vikings. Inbound pass to Hajdukovic. Gets it out to Hydorn out high. Over to Seahaver from three. Off the iron. No good. Rebound taken down by Clefstead. That's John. Gets it over to Knutson. Knutson across the timeline. Gets it over to Retz on the right side. Feeds it into the lane to Semp, and he lays it up and in. 24-19. The Bulldogs cut it to 5. They're making a bit of a run. Hydor with it at the top of the key. Gets it to Hajdukovic, and who drives the lane and lays it up and in. Ed Hajdukovic high off the glass and puts it home. 26-19, Vikings on top. Semp tries to feed it into the corner to Cade Clefstead, and he fed it a little bit too far. Clefstead couldn't quite reach it, and the Vikings have it. And we have a timeout on the floor. 4:18 to go in the first half. Vikings lead it 26-19. You're listening to Viking Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
If you have a high-deductible health plan, opening a health savings account at Dairy State Bank will allow you to save tax-free dollars to pay for a long list of health-related services allowed by the IRS. Dairy State Bank HSAs are serviced locally and work like a regular checking account. You can use a debit card or check to pay for expenses and access your account through online or mobile banking. Visit DairyStateBank.com to learn more about HSAs and online or mobile banking. Dairy State Bank, banking on relationships. Member FDIC.
In addition to being your hometown newspaper, the Colfax Messenger is also your one-stop shop for all your printing needs. The Messenger provides full in-house design and full-color printing services for copies, business cards, letterheads, envelopes, pamphlets, brochures, books. They can even do posters up to 13 by 30 inches for your events or benefits. Call the Colfax Messenger at 715-265-4646 or visit dewitmedia.com. And we're back at Colfax High School where the Vikings have a 26-19 lead over the Boyceville Bulldogs, and the Vikings have the ball. Hydorn brings it down across the timeline, Feeds it to Gibson, to Seahaver, back to Gibson, to Hajdukovic. Jumper from the free throw line, in and out, no good. Rebound taken down by the Boyceville Bulldogs. Quickly coming down the floor is Semp. Feeds it over into the corner to Klefsted. That's John, puts up a three. No, it doesn't go in. And Hajdukovic taking it coast to coast, feeds it off at Seahaver at the last second, who lays it in. 28-19, Vikings back up by 9. As the Bulldogs have it into the forecourt. Retz with it. Over to Knutson. From high, wide and right, puts it up off the back of the iron. Klefsted fighting for the rebound, knocks it out of bounds.
Good job by number 33, Drew Gibson, to box out, and Boyceville had to reach in and it went out of bounds.
3.5 minutes to go in the first half. Hydorn with it. Hydorn takes it down and got his pocket picked as he was trying to go down the left side of the lane by Retz, who feeds it over to Knutson. Knutson out between the circles. Drives down the right side of the lane, and we have a whistle, and they're going to say a foul with the body. And that's on Seahaver. That's his second personal, 5th foul on the Vikings. Reebok comes in for Seahaver, who takes a seat. And the Bulldogs inbound it. They get it out high to Retz. To Semp over on the left side, high, wide, and left. Now he dribbles it out between the circles. To Knutson, high, wide, and right. Cross-court pass over to Cade Klefsted. Now he gets it to Semp. Drives into the lane, kicks it out, and now Knutson has it high, wide, and left. Knutson feeds it over to Semp, puts up a three, no good. Rebound taken away by Gibson. Gets it to Hydorn. Hydorn stops at the top of the key. Thinks about driving. Takes it to the free throw line, gives it to Reebok. Now to Hajdukovic. To Gibson at the top of the key. Over to Albright on the right side. Tries to drive the lane. We have a whistle and a foul. And the foul is against Retz. That's his second personal. 6th team foul on the Bulldogs. High inbound pass out to Hajdukovic. He gets it over to Reebok. Reebok to Gibson. Over to Hajdukovic on the right side. Drives over towards the lane. Turns around, passes it back out to Albright. Albright takes it into the lane. Puts it up off the glass. No good. Rebound taken down by Cade Klefsted. Feeds it off to Semp. Gets it off to Retz, who puts up a three, and he hit it from the left side. Walker Retz with the three. That's 6 points for him. Hajdukovic tries to go to the hole with it, and it gets batted away by the Bulldogs, and they have the ball. Minute 30 to go. Knutson tries to drive the baseline, tries to make a pass, and it just doesn't get there. Vikings have it. Coming down is Albright, puts it up off the glass and in. 30-22, Vikings on top. Semp bringing it across the timeline for the Bulldogs. Gets it over to Retz. Retz feeds it to Knutson, and he almost got his pocket picked by Gibson, and they're going to get Gibson with a foul. That's the 6th team foul on the Vikings. That's the first personal on Gibson. Inbounding it now for the Bulldogs is Semp. He gets it out to Knutson on the left side. Out between the circles to John Klefsted. Now they feed it into the lane to Cade Klefsted. Puts it up, no good. And the Vikings bring it down. Hydorn with it. Feeds it off to the right side to Hajdukovic. Drives the lane, can't get it to go. There was some body banging going on there, and it took Hajdukovic out of his shot. And they're going to get Gibson with a reach that time. And it's putting Knutson to the line. That's the 7th team foul on the Vikings, so he's going to be shooting a 1-and-1. Knutsen's first shot is on the way, in and out, no good. Rebound taken down by Hadukovic. Taking it down the floor on the right side. Stops in the right corner, feeds it out high to Albright. Albright underneath to Reback, tries to put up a shot, and we have a whistle and a foul. And this foul is being called on Knutsen. That's his second personal, 7th team foul. Both teams in the bonus. Only 32 seconds left in the half. Reback's shot is up, rattles around and goes in. 31-22, Vikings on top. Reback's second shot is up and in. That one was a little more definite.
Yep.
And coming down the floor is Knutsen with about 25 seconds to go in the first half. Knutsen over to Semp on the right side. He's high, wide, and right. Out to Retz between the circles. Retz feeds it over to Clefstead. That was Cade Clefstead. Lost the handle, went out of bounds. But they're going to say the Vikings touched it. Well, the officials have a talk about it, but they're saying that the Vikings touched it. So Retz will inbound for the Bulldogs. 13.2 seconds remaining. Inbound pass batted away by the Vikings, and coming down the floor is Hallquist. He's got it between the circles, 5 seconds. And Hajdukovic can't find the handle, gets a shot off, but it was not going to count. So we have reached halftime with the score. Vikings 22. Boyceville Bulldogs, or Vikings 32, Boyceville Bulldogs 22. We've got some halftime programming, which will also include the Viking profile and the Colfax High School report, and that'll be coming up right after this timeout on the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Are your animals feeling a little under the weather? Give the nice folks at Colfax Animal Hospital a call. Bruce Buckley is just what the doctor ordered. In fact, he is the doctor, and he's ready to help. That's the Colfax Animal Hospital. Give them a call at 715-962-3380. Northern Light Webcasting Network is proud to present Colfax Viking basketball for the 2019-2020 season. Join us Thursday, January 23rd as the Viking girls take on the Elk Mound Mounders from Elk Mound. Viking pregame begins at 7 o'clock and live play-by-play begins at 7:10 right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
Time now for Viking Profile, where we take a closer look at one of the Colfax Viking players. And now, Viking Profile.
Today on Viking Profile, we're going to get to know Zach Rindy, a senior here at Colfax High School, and we'll be chatting with Zach right after this message.
We are the boy band. Your tween made you see. We are the boy band. It's Painful Concert number 3. We are the boy band. We're 5 and 19. We are the boy band. Always singing on key.
You love your kids enough to take them to see their favorite band. Love them enough to make sure they're buckled up in the back seat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
We're talking with Zach Rindy on Viking Profile. And Zach, we know you play basketball, but are you involved in any other activities here at school?
Yes, I'm in football and baseball.
And what do you play in baseball?
Baseball, I play first base and center field.
And in football, of course, we got to see you as a wide receiver heading down the field a few times this last fall. Now, when did you start playing basketball, and what kind of experience have you had?
Basketball, I probably started playing in 4th grade and have played every winter and most summers since then.
And what's the most important thing that you've learned from playing basketball?
Be comfortable and confident on the floor.
And so when not playing basketball or you're not here at school, what are some things that keep you interested or occupied?
Oh gosh, I like to ski in the winter, I like to hunt, and I like to go swimming in the summertime.
Okay, I've got some rapid fire questions for you. Just give me the first thing that pops into your head. Pie, ice cream, cake, or cookies?
That's got to be ice cream.
And what kind?
Mint chocolate chip.
Okay, your favorite color and why?
Probably red because it's Colfax Vikings.
Now, if you could have a superpower, what would it be and why?
I guess I've kind of always wanted to fly. I think it'd be cool to see, I guess, the world from up in the air.
Your favorite NBA team?
It's got to be the hometown Bucks.
And your favorite college team?
Wisconsin.
Now we're talking with Zach Rindy on Viking Profile. Zach, what are your plans for after high school?
After high school, I hope to attend college at the University of Wisconsin-Madison.
And how about a shout out to your family?
I'd just like to say thanks for coming to my games and watching them on the live stream. And yeah, thanks for supporting.
Now, when people come to Viking games, what number do you wear and what position do you play?
Well, I wear number 5, and I'm kind of an all-around player. Somewhere in the middle. Not quite a big guy, not quite a point guard, but
we're one of those swing players wherever they need you.
Exactly.
Well, we want to thank Zach Rindy for joining us today on Viking Profile. Coming up next, more Viking Halftime.
You've been listening to Viking Profile. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
Hey, it's me, your cell phone. We need to talk about something serious. I know you love me, I know you like using me wherever you are, but I feel like this isn't working out when you're driving. I know you may think that it's possible to focus both on me and the road, but I just don't feel the same way. I think we should spend time away from each other when you're driving. It's for the best.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Time for the Colfax High School Report with an update on what's happening at Colfax High School.
This past week at Colfax High School, Mother Nature had an impact on both the boys and girls basketball teams. The Viking boys led off the week on Monday the 13th when they traveled to Minong to take on the Northwood Evergreens. The Vikings dropped a narrow 48-44 decision to the Evergreens. Then on Tuesday the 14th, the Viking girls continued their dominance at the Dun St. Croix Conference by soundly defeating the Boyceville Bulldogs 59-20. Then on Thursday the 16th, the boys hosted the conference-leading Durand Panthers, where the Vikings, in spite of a 24-point performance by Drew Gibson, dropped a 62-52 loss to Durand. Then on Friday the 17th, Mother Nature reared her ugly side, and it snowed enough to cause dangerous travel conditions, and thus postponing both the girls' game at Spring Valley set for Friday and the boys' game at Bloomer set for Saturday. Both games were rescheduled for Monday of this week, where the girls defeated the Spring Valley Cardinals 63-17, and the boys dropped their third game in a row by the score of 56-35. The Bloomer Colfax Wrestlers also had a tournament at Ladysmith scheduled for Saturday, which due to weather and road conditions was canceled. Now coming up next week, the middle school girls basketball will continue their season on Thursday the 30th when they host Glenwood City. The Viking girls will host Plum City Elmwood on Tuesday the 28th and travel to Glenwood City on Friday the 31st. We'll have all the varsity action for both games right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, with Viking pregame beginning at 7 o'clock and live play-by-play beginning at 7:10. The Viking boys will travel to Ellsworth on Monday the 27th and to Elk Mound on Thursday the 30th. Both nights, JV starts at 5:45 and the varsity begins at 7:15. The Bloomer Colfax Wrestlers will compete in the Ladysmith Duels on Friday the 31st. And that's what's happening at Colfax High School. This has been Rick Olson reporting.
You've been listening to the Colfax High School Report with an update on what's happening at Colfax High School. The second half of Colfax Viking basketball is coming up.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
And we're back here at Colfax High School where the Vikings have a 32-22 lead at halftime. Dan, why don't you give us those numbers?
Yeah, here's the scores for Colfax Vikings right now. Their leading scorer is number 21, Ed Hajdukovic with 12 points. Cole Seahaver, number 10, has 5. Noah Hydorn has 4, and Noah Albright has 4. And a couple of guys with 2. For Boyceville Bulldogs, their leading scorer right now is number 14, Logan Knutson with 9. Walker Retz with 6. Cade Clefstead with 2, and John Clefstead with 3.
Okay, and we're getting just about ready. The teams are warming up, and so we're going to have second half action right after this brief timeout. You're listening to Viking Basketball in the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
If you have a high-deductible health plan, opening a health savings account at Dairy State Bank will allow you to save tax-free dollars to pay for a long list of health-related services allowed by the IRS. Dairy State Bank HSAs are serviced locally and work like a regular checking account. You can use a debit card or check to pay for expenses and access your account through online or mobile banking. Visit DairyStateBank.com to learn more about HSAs and online or mobile banking. Dairy State Bank, banking on relationships. Member FDIC.
And we're back here at Colfax High School, just about getting ready to get this one back underway. And the possession arrow is in favor of the Vikings, who will get it to start the second half. So Zach Rindy goes over to get the ball from the official to inbound it. Bulldogs are now out on the floor. Rindy's got the ball, gets it into Hydorn, and he brings it right through the center circle, and we're underway. To Hajdukovic, back to Rindy. Cross-court pass, trying to get to Hajdukovic in the lane. He's got it, turns around, puts it up, and got fouled on the way up. So Ed Hajdukovic going to go to the line for the Vikings.
Right away, Colfax tries to get the ball into the interior and try to get an easy 2.
Hajdukovic waiting for the ball for his 2 shots. First shot is on the way. Off the back of the iron, no good. And his second shot is on the way, and it's off the back of the iron, no good. Rebound taken down by Retz for the Bulldogs. Gets it over to Cade Clefstead, to Knutson between the circles. Knutson feeds it over to Retz, and his pass into Clefstead is intercepted, and Seahaver drives the length of the court, puts it up and in for the Vikings. 34-22, Vikings on top. Semp with it down the left side, now between the circles. Gets it to Larson way over on the left side, back out high to Knutson. Knutson to Semp on the left. Coming back around, loses his footing, gets it off to Clefstead, who puts up a shot and banks it home. Cade Clefstead with that shot. 34-24, Vikings up by 10, 17 minutes remaining in the game. Rindy with it from the left baseline, puts it up, no good. Rebound taken down by Hajdukovic, and they get it over to Rindy. Back out high to Hydorn, puts up a shot. His foot was on the line, so he only gets a 2 for it. But Zach Rindy comes through with some points. 36-24, Vikings up. Knutson drives into the lane for the Bulldogs, banks it off the glass and puts it home. 36-26, both teams finding a little bit of scoring power right away. Hydorn with it, takes a stutter step, feeds it over to Gibson. And we have a whistle and a foul. Gibson drew the blocking foul by Knutson. That's Knutsen's third foul, second team foul on the Bulldogs this half. Hajdukovic with it. Gets it over to Hydorn on the right side. Feeds it to Gibson. Tries to go into the lane. Gets it back out to Hydorn from three. No good. Rebound. Goes out of bounds. Last touched by the Bulldogs.
Something to pay attention to. Number 14, Knutsen has 3 fouls. He's their leading scorer right now for the team.
Hajdukovic gets it over to Hydorn on the right side. To Gibson down at the baseline. Feeds it back out to Hydorn. Drives into the lane. Tries to split the defense, and he was successful. Drew the foul trying to get to the basket.
And I do believe that's 4 on Knutsen.
It is. That's his foul on Knutsen. That's his 4th personal, 3rd team foul. He's picked up 2 quick ones in this second half. And Hydorn waiting for the ball. Now he's got it. First shot is on the way, off the front of the iron, no good. And John Klefsted comes into the lineup for Knutsen as he takes a seat. Hydorn's second shot is on the way, off the front of the iron, no good. Rebound taken down by Retz for the Bulldogs. Gets it over to Semp. Takes it between the circles. Feeds it off to the right side to Larson. Larson outside the arc. Now feeds it over to the left side to John Klefsted. John takes it down the right side of the lane. Over to Cade Klefsted. Back out high. This is Semp with it on the right side. Now he's between the circles. Gets it over to Larson on the left. Out to John. John drives to the free throw line. Kicks it out to brother Cade. Cade feeds it in to Retz, and we have a whistle and a foul. And that foul is going to be on Seahaver, and that's his 3rd personal. 1st team foul on the Vikings, but Cole Seahaver takes a seat. Semp to inbound for the Bulldogs. Gets it in Larson, turns around, puts it up and in. Larson with about an 8-footer. 36-28, Vikings up by 8. Hydorn with it, feeds it to Gibson. Gibson took one too many steps going in on the baseline. He had a nice layup going in. I think he realized that's why it didn't go through. He kind of knew he took that extra step. So the Bulldogs have it. They come down the floor. Klefsted, that's Cade with it. Out to Larson on the right. Larson out between the circles now. To Semp on high, wide, and left. Semp drives into the lane. Stops at the free throw line. Turns around, puts it up. No good. Rebound taken down by Gibson. Gibson to Hydorn. Hydorn to Hajdukovic. Hajdukovic feeds it to Rindy. Rindy lays it up. No good. Off the back of the iron. And coming down with it is Klefsted. Feeds it over to Semp. Semp to Retz. Retz with a 3. No good. Rattled in and out. Gibson gets it. Feeds it down to Hajdukovic. Tries to lay it up. No good. Rebound tapped around and off the Bulldogs. And the Vikings will have it under the basket. 14-14 to go in the game. Vikings up by 8. 36-28. Inbound pass goes to Hydorn. Feeds it into the lane to Hajdukovic. Looking for something to do with it. Finally turns around, tries to put it up. It got blocked. And the Bulldogs quickly come down the floor. It's Semp with it. At the top of the key, feeds it over to Larson inside the arc on the right side. His shot is no good. Rebound batted around. Hajdukovic chases it down, lays it up and in. And Hajdukovic never really had control of the ball till he finally picked it up and laid it in.
Yeah, he just kind of outran everybody.
38-28, Vikings on top by 10. Retz with it on the left side. Drives into the lane. Kicks it out to Cade Klefsted. Over onto the left side to Semp. Drives into the lane. Puts it up. Rolls around. No good. Gibson with the rebound for the Vikings. He comes down across the timeline on the right side. Gets it to Hydorn. Drives straight down the middle of the lane. Lays it up. No good. Rebound. Tap in by Rindy. A follow-up. Very nice tap in by by Rindy that time.
Good job by Zach Rindy to follow the shot.
Semp with it on the left side. Gets it over to Clefstead. Back out high to Retz. And the ball gets taken away by Rindy. Takes it coast to coast. Lays it up. No! It went off the front of the iron. Laid a little too hard off the glass. And the Bulldogs come back down with it. And we have a timeout being called by the Boyceville Bulldogs. 12:41 to go in the game. Vikings on top, 40-28. And you are listening to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
Oh no.
If your car has had an oh no experience, whether it's from a deer, another vehicle, or any other cause, be sure to see the hardworking people at Morgan's Auto Body in Colfax. Mike Morgan and his staff are ready to get your car right again. The staff at Morgan's Auto Body are ASE and iCar certified technicians, and they can get your car looking like new. That's Morgan's Auto Body in Colfax. Call them at 715-962-3559. The Colfax Messenger has covered the happenings of Colfax and the surrounding area for over 120 years. No one cares for Colfax like the Messenger. Readers get the most current news, sports, and feature stories about the people and places of Colfax. Also, the Messenger is your one-stop source for all your printing needs. To subscribe to the Colfax Messenger or receive a free quote on your printing needs, call the Messenger at 715-265-4646 or visit them online at www.dewitmedia.com. Checking into the Boyceville lineup is Dawson McRoberts. He inbounds it. It gets over to John Clefstead, who loses the handle of it, and it goes out of bounds on the left side. So the Vikings will have it. Gibson to inbound it. He gets it over to Hallquist. Hallquist comes through the center circle. Gets it over to Hajdukovic. High, wide, and right. Over to Albright. Out to Gibson out high. To Reback on the right side. Back out high to Gibson. Three-pointer on the way. Off the front of the iron. Rolls around and in. That hit the rim about 4 different places before it decided to go down and in. 43-28. Vikings on top. Semp with it. Gets it over to Clefstead on the right side. John Clefstead with it now at the free throw line. Turns around. Gets it out to McRoberts. And we have a whistle. And we got a push being called.
Looks like 21.
Ed Hajdukovic on that foul. That's his first personal, second team foul on the Vikings. And he comes out for a breather. Bulldogs looking to get it in. McRoberts has it way out high. Takes it between the circles at the top of the key. Feeds it over to the left side to Knutson. Now gets it down low to Cade Clefstead. Now back out to Knutson on the right side, and he double dribbled. So the ball goes over to the Vikings. Albright feeds it into Hallquist. It brings it down the floor. Through the center circle, gets it over to Seahaver, and he drains a three. Nobody was anywhere near Seahaver, and he thought, why not? And he put it up and in. Yeah, that was a pretty looking shot.
They left him open.
Cole Seahaver with 10 points on the night. 46-28, Vikings on top, and now we have Knutson, or check that, that wasn't Knutson, that was Hollister, takes it in and lays it in for the Bulldogs. Albright down the floor with it for the Vikings. Feeds it out high, and he doesn't get it to anybody but a purple jersey. That's Knutson taking it down through the lane, puts it up, no good. Rebound taken down by Gibson. And Gibson had to readjust the ball as he was trying to get the pass off, and while he was doing it, his feet didn't stop, and that's a traveling call on Gibson. 10:48 to go. 46-30, Vikings on top. Semp with it on the left side. Gets it out to Knutson from the top of the key. Puts it off the back of the iron. No good. Seahaver with the rebound. Comes back down the floor. Drives into the lane. Puts it up off the glass. No good. Rebound. Batted around. Reebok tries to get it. Can't quite find control. And we have Knutson driving into the lane. No good on the rebound. Coming away with it as McRoberts puts it up in and out. No good. And the rebound taken down by Seahaver for the Vikings. And quickly across the timeline to Hallquist between the circles. Vikings slowing things down a little bit now. To Albright on the left side. Down to Seahaver. Three-pointer on the way from the left corner. No good. Rebound taken down by Knutson for the Bulldogs. 10 minutes to go in the game. Knutson down across the timeline. Vikings up by 16. Knutson feeds it over to the left side to Hollister. Into the lane to Clefstead. That's Cade Clefstead tries to get a shot up. It's no good, but it was partially blocked and out of bounds by the Vikings, so the Bulldogs will have it.
Good job by Colfax to they were kind of small and they kept Boyceville out of the interior.
John Clefstead has it out high. Feeds it over into the right corner. Three-pointer up by Semp. No good. Rebound batted around. Vikings can't quite save it as Hallquist went head first into the scorer's table. He gets up fine. Not so sure about the scorer's table. As he was diving to try to stop the ball from going out of bounds. Bulldogs have it, and Semp has it on the left side. He takes it out between the circles. Gets it over to Clefstead. This is John at the free throw line. Back out to Knutson on the right side. Knutson takes it to the top of the key. Picks up his dribble, tries to pass it to Semp, and it's almost intercepted by the Vikings. Not touched by the Vikings, I don't think.
I think they're saying he did touch it.
Yeah, evidently they are. I didn't think he got any of it, but they're going to give it to the Bulldogs. Into the lineup for the Bulldogs is Hunter Nye. As John Clefstead goes out. Looks like maybe John turned an ankle or something. He was kind of walking funny under the back behind the baseline. Knutson has it. Gets it over to Semp. Semp drives around to the right side, tries to pass it into the lane. It's stolen by Hajdukovic. Hajdukovic takes it coast to coast, lays it up, and gets fouled on the way in. The ball does not go in, but Hajdukovic is going to the line for two. That foul is on Cade Clefstead. It's his second personal, fourth team foul on the Bulldogs. 9 minutes even to go in the game. Hajdukovic at the line. First shot on the way. It's good. 15 points for Hajdukovic on the night. 47-30. And the second shot is on the way, and it's also good. 48-30. Vikings on top. Knutson brings it down the floor for the Bulldogs. Feeds it off to the right side to Semp. Gets it into the lane to Cade Clefstead. Back out high to Hajdukovic. Hajdukovic feeds it out into the right corner to Nye, and his shot is no good. Hajdukovic with it for the Vikings. Gets it out to Albright. High, wide, and left. Gets it to Reebok underneath. Puts it up, and it rattles home. To Reebok gets a couple points. That's 4 for him on the night. 50-30, Vikings up by 20. Pass intended for Semp is knocked out of bounds by Hallquist.
Number 20, Taylor Hallquist, is having a good defensive night so far.
Inbound pass to Retz. He's got it between the circles. Feeds it down low to Clefstead. That's Cade Clefstead. Gets it to Knutson. Drives in, and he's fouled on his way up by Hallquist. And the question about Clefstead. Nope, that's the other Clefstead. Well, check that. That's John Clefstead in there. So now I don't know who 22 was. A lot of substitutions for the Vikings. Knutson's shot is on the way, and it's good. 50-32, 18-point lead for the Vikings. Heidorn with it. Gets it over to Rindy on the left side, and Rindy took an extra step as he started his dribble. He wasn't too happy with that call. Retz inbounds it for the Bulldogs. Gets it over to Semp, who takes it on the left side. Gets it over to Knutson. Knutson takes it back out high to Retz. Back over to the high, wide, and left to Knutson. Tries to penetrate the pass, but it gets batted back out. Picked up by Semp to Retz. Dribbling between the circles. Over to Semp on the left. Drives down to the baseline. Puts it up. No good. Rebound taken down by Heidorn. Heidorn getting a little bit of pressure as he brings it down the floor. Gets across the timeline. Thinks about feeding it to the left side. Gets it to Gibson between the circles. Over to Sikora on the right side. They feed it underneath to Heidorn. Feeds it back out to Rindy in the right corner. Now to Heidorn on the right side. Back out to Gibson from three. No good. Rebound, and we have a whistle and a foul. And that foul is going to be on Heidorn, I believe. Yes, it's his first personal. Fourth team foul on the Vikings. And Knutson brings it down the floor for the Bulldogs. Feed it over to the right side, and we have a whistle and a foul right away. The pass was to Semp, and he got fouled right away, and the foul's on Gibson. That's his third personal. Fifth team foul.
Colfax didn't get a score down here the last possession, but they did a good job to settle it down, move the ball around, run a little clock, and get a good shot.
Seahaver in for Gibson. Inbound pass. Knutson tried to go up, and that ball got rejected by the Vikings. But Knutson got his own rebound and came back and put it up and in. Heidorn had a nice rejection, though. They get it to Sikora for the Vikings. Feeds it over to the right side to Rindy. Tries to feed it into the lane to Heidorn and does not make a connection. Ball goes out of bounds, and the Bulldogs have it. Semp to inbound to Knutson. He takes it across the timeline. 6:25 to go in the game. Retz with it on the left side. His pass is intercepted immediately by Rindy, and Rindy got fouled right away. It was kind of a reaction foul by Retz.
Yeah, good foul by Retz there. Rindy would have had a breakaway.
Yeah, solo flight for Rindy, and he took that away from him. So Rindy inbounds it to Sikora, brings it across the timeline. Over on the right side to Hajdukovic, drives into the lane, turns around, kicks it out to Rindy. They feed it into Seahaver. He lays it up, no good. Rebound. Seahaver gets it back out to Hajdukovic, who puts it up from just inside the arc for two. Vikings on top, 52-34, and we have a timeout on the floor. Timeout by the Bulldogs, 5:48 to go in the game. Vikings 52, Bulldogs 34, and you're listening to Viking Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
What makes Hometown Pharmacy different than the big chains? People. When you walk into Hometown Pharmacy, you'll see friends and neighbors on both sides of the counter.
We come to Hometown Pharmacy because they are also very knowledgeable and helpful.
We may not be on every corner, but chances are we're in your hometown, or we'll be there shortly. And we care about you. Hometown Pharmacy, our family caring for your family.
Stop by Colfax Hometown Pharmacy in downtown Colfax.
Are your pooch's proportions putting on pounds? Or is your kitty's constitution constantly complaining?
Well, stop by and see the friendly folks at the Colfax Animal Hospital. Dr. Bruce Buckley and his staff will be happy to help you get your family friend back on the road to healthy living. That's the Colfax Animal Hospital. Call them at 715-962-3380. And we're back here at Colfax. Boyceville will inbound the ball after that timeout. Vikings on top, 52-34. Bulldogs inbound it to Knutson. He's got it between the circles. Takes it down the right side. Still on the dribble down into the right corner. Back out high to Clefstead. Now it's over to Semp. Semp from the top of the key puts it up and he hit the three. 52-37, Vikings on top. Sikora brings it down the floor for the Vikings. Drives down to the lane and he went up but the ball didn't, and the Bulldogs are quickly down the floor. Semp with it, taking it over to the right side. Semp still on the dribble, looking for somewhere to go with it. Finally passes it out to Clefstead, who gets it over to Knutson. Knutson tries to drive the lane, feeds it underneath, and we have a whistle. And that foul is on Trevor Hollister. It's his first personal. 6th team foul, so the Vikings will be in the bonus from this point on. Sikora over to the right side to Hajdukovic. Feeds it into the lane, and they're saying Hydorn walked with it as he had to duck under some arms, took an extra step in the process. So the Bulldogs have it. Semp with it across the timeline. Feeds it over to Knutson. Now over to Hollister, puts it up off the glass, no good. Rebound by Seahaver, brings it down the floor. Feeds it out high to Hajdukovic. To Hydorn. To Seahaver from inside the arc, puts it up, rattles around, no good. Rebound taken down by Clefstead. Feeds it off to Semp on the left side. Drives into the lane, gets it back out to Clefstead. Now over to Knutson on the right side. Takes it down into the right corner, back out high to Clefstead. To Semp from three, puts it up, no good. That was a long three. Gets it to Hollister on the rebound, and he lays it up and in. 52-39. Vikings up by 13. 3:50 to go in the game. Hajdukovic with it, gets it out to Sikora just inside the arc, puts it up off the glass, no good. Rebound quickly down the floor by the Bulldogs. Quick shot by Knutson, rattles home with a three. And they've cut it to 10. 3:37 to go, and the Vikings take a timeout. Timeout on the floor with 3:37 to go. Vikings up 52-42, and you're listening to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
Northern Light Webcasting Network is proud to present Colfax Viking basketball for the 2019-2020 season. Join us Thursday, January 23rd as the Viking girls take on the Elk Mound Mounders from Elk Mound. Viking pregame begins at 7 o'clock and live play-by-play begins at 7:10 right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
And we're back here at Colfax High School, and this reminder that Colfax Viking basketball is brought to you by Dairy State Bank, where they're banking on relationships. Colfax Animal Hospital, trust your pets to Dr. Buckley and his staff. Morgan's Auto Body, where after an oh-no moment they can make your car right again. Colfax Messenger for over 120 years, keeping you informed about what's happening in the Colfax area. Colfax Hometown Pharmacy, their family caring for your family, and Kyle's Market, where customer service is supersized. Be sure to thank these sponsors of Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Vikings have the ball. Hydorn with it in the backcourt. Gets it over to Seahaver. Passes it across the timeline to Hajdukovic, to Seahaver, to Hydorn coming in on the left side, and a blocking foul being called against Semp. That's Semp's second personal. And Hydorn goes to the line for the 1-and-1.
Good job by Noah Hydorn to make a move to get to the block and get the foul.
Hydorn's first shot is on the way, and it's good. And the 53-42. Second shot. It's up, and it's good. That's 8 points for Heidorn on the night. 54-42, Vikings on top. 3:21 to go. Bulldogs bringing it down the floor. Knutson with it. He's between the circles, takes it down the right side. Down to the baseline, puts it up, and it goes in. 54-44. Vikings with a 10-point lead. Rindy feeds it to Hajdukovic on the right side, and we have a whistle and a foul. And that foul is going to be on Semp. It's his third personal. Puts Hajdukovic on the line. I think they might be getting ready to play the fouling game. Put them to the line, see what they can do. Hajdukovic with the 1-and-1, puts the first one in.
Yeah, it's only a 10-point or 11-point game yet. Boyceville, I'm going to keep
within
fighting
reach,
her.
yeah. Hajdukovic with his second shot. It's on the way, and it's good. 56-44. Ed Hajdukovic with 20 on the night. Coming down the floor as Knutson takes it to the right side, and they're going to say he turned the ball over. Got his hand a little bit too far underneath the ball as he turned the corner that time. So the Vikings will have it on the side. Gibson to inbound it. Feeds it to Heidorn. Heidorn coming through the backcourt, closely covered. Gets it to Rindy in the forecourt. Rindy drives into the lane, puts it up. No. Rebound, knocked out of bounds. Well, no, saved inbounds by Seehaver. Long pass down the floor, and they can't make a connection. Intended for Semp, and the Vikings will have it. Heidorn with it, coming through the backcourt for the Vikings. Through the center circle. Vikings up by 12. Gets it over to Hajdukovic. High, wide, and right. Back out to Rindy at the top of the key. To Seehaver on the left. To Hajdukovic out high. Vikings willing to burn a little clock to Rindy. To Heidorn. To Hajdukovic. Drives into the lane. Puts it up. Whistle and a foul. Hajdukovic did not get the shot to go, but he's going to go to the line.
Good move by Ed Hajdukovic. He was kind of caught up at the top, did a nice spin to get to the hole and get the foul.
Brendan Hazelton with the foul. It's his first personal, 9th team foul. Hajdukovic missed everything on that first shot. I'm not sure it even landed in Dunn County. Second shot.
Got a little smirk on his face.
I guess everybody's entitled to one of those.
That's right.
His second shot is off the iron, no good. At least he got iron that time. Gibson gets the rebound, though, and puts it up and in.
Drew Gibson.
58-44. Gibson with 8 on the night. Knutson on the right side. Takes it down to the baseline. Tries to pass it across, and it's intercepted by Seehaver, but evidently he stepped on the baseline, and so the Bulldogs will have it. Minute 58 to go in this one. Inbound pass to Clefstead. Feeds it out to, or feeds it to Semp, gets it back out to Clefstead, puts it in. Coming down the floor is Rindy. Killing some time to Hajdukovic, back to Rindy. Minute and a half to go. Seehaver with it. They're way out high trying to spread things out. Rindy has it. To Seehaver, high, wide, and right. Now between the circles to Heidorn. To Rindy. And the pass gets stolen, but gets picked up again by the Vikings. Now to Hajdukovic. He's down low at the baseline, puts it up and in. And we have a timeout being called on the floor by the Vikings. 1:01 to go. Vikings 60, Bulldogs 46. And you're listening to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
Okay, kids, Dad's gonna teach you how to dance. First, spread your feet apart. Then, pump your knee, nod your head, shake your hips, and bite your lip ever so slightly. Now, with one hand in the air, point at people with the other hand. I call that the rock star.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids.
Now, make a face like it just smells something bad.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
And we're back here at Colfax High School. Coach Moss called a timeout just to settle things down a little bit. Vikings well in control, but just under a minute to go in this game, and things were starting to look a little bit ragged. Semp with it for the Bulldogs on the right side to Clefstead, feeds it down low, and we have a whistle. And Hazelton was evidently out of bounds when he caught that pass down along the baseline, and the Vikings have it. Inbound to Seahaver. Still in the backcourt, gets it over to Rindy on the right side, comes across the timeline. Down to Hajdukovic, feeds it in the lane to Seahaver, lays it up and in. 62-46, 38 seconds to go. Semp with it. On the right side, cross court, pass to Hazelton. Turns around, puts it up off the glass and in. Hollister, check that, that's Hollister. Pass comes down to Hajdukovic. 15 seconds remaining. Looks like he's willing to let it just run down as Hajdukovic with it. He's just dribbling high, wide, and left. 5 seconds to go. Nobody's making any effort. There's some hands being shook, and we have now got a buzzer, and that's a final. Final score, Vikings 62, Boyceville Bulldogs 48. We're going to have Viking postgame coming up in just a minute. Final score once again, Vikings 62, Boyceville 48. You've been listening to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt US Kids, and the Ad Council.
You've been listening to Colfax Viking Basketball, live on the Northern Light Webcasting Network. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network in conjunction with Colfax High School. Stay tuned, coming up next is Viking Postgame with a look back at today's game.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling on it.
The dad joke. Corny, groan-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
What did the buffalo say when he dropped his son off for school? Bye, son.
So take a moment to make your kid laugh, because dad jokes rule. Make your kid laugh today. Go to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
I can't believe he found them.
He seems sorry.
We very clearly told him not to look up there.
I'm honestly impressed that he was able to do it.
Right? What, did he balance on that big chair?
Yeah, I mean, I guess he'll just know what his gifts are this year.
I really thought we had hidden them well.
If they can find their presents, they can find a gun.
911, what is your emergency?
Every day, 8 kids and teens are unintentionally killed or injured by loaded and unlocked guns. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and End Family Fire.
Time now for Viking Postgame, a wrap-up of today's Colfax Viking boys game. And now, Viking Postgame.
And we're back here at Colfax High School where the Vikings just knocked off the Boyceville Bulldogs 62-48, and we have Coach Garrett Moss with us. And Coach, that's a pretty good way to break a losing streak.
Yeah, anytime we can score 62 points, we'll take it. But, we definitely got some stuff we got to clean up. We still got to take care of the ball a little better. But, hey, anytime you can get a win in this conference, we'll take it.
And that keeps you right on pace with that conference race. You're just a game behind Durand, and they still have some shots at it here.
Yeah, we told the guys in the locker room before the game that their goal is a conference championship, and they still control their own destiny. And we got some tough matchups coming up here, and Friday's going to be a battle at Spring Valley.
And that's what I was going to mention to you. I suspect you're going to have a little different time at Spring Valley than what the girls did last night.
Yeah, they obviously are well coached, and they're probably the best defensive team in the conference. So we got to move the ball a little better, and we got to take care of it better. And they got some really nice players, and Aaron Bordering and the Stengel kid can hurt you from deep. So we definitely got some work to do, but we'll be ready Friday.
It looked like you probably took care of some of those shooting woes that you'd been going through.
Yeah, we thought that we were holding on the ball a little too long our previous games, and we were just a little indecisive. And we told the guys, if you're in rhythm, and let it fly, and if not, give it up and try to come back off a screen and get it. And for a while there, we shot it pretty well, and we had a little bit of a streak there where we kind of went cold, but we got it back inside, and we're fortunate enough to pull out the victory.
Well, Coach, congratulations especially on breaking that 3-game losing streak, and good luck Friday over at Spring Valley.
Thank you.
And that's been Coach Garrett Moss talking to us, and we'll have more Viking postgame right after this brief timeout. You're listening to Viking postgame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
Open calendar. What's my schedule looking like?
Next Thursday, you will be caught in an emergency flash flood between Park and First Street.
What? No, that doesn't work. I'm busy then. Decline. Decline.
Floods don't exactly work around your schedule. Disasters don't plan ahead. But you can. It starts with talking to your loved ones about making an emergency plan. So don't wait. Communicate. Visit readywisconsin.wi.gov. Brought to you by Ready Wisconsin, FEMA, and the Ad Council.
And we're back here at Colfax, where the Vikings knocked off the Boyceville Bulldogs by a score of 62-48 in a game that they pretty much led from the start. I think Boyceville got the first 2 points, but after that it was all Vikings. And let's take a look at coming up this week. Viking girls, next game is going to be Thursday, 2 nights from now, the 23rd, when the Vikings travel over to Elk Mound to take on the Mounders. That's a pretty important game in the conference. JV begins at 5:45 and the varsities at 7:15. And of course, we're going to have all that varsity action for you right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Viking pregame starts at 7 o'clock, live play-by-play at 7:10. And as Coach was just saying, the Viking boys are going to travel over to Spring Valley on Friday. JV begins at 5:45 and varsity at 7:15. And if you missed part of tonight's game, or you know somebody who would like to hear it, this game is going to be rebroadcast right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network tomorrow beginning at 6 p.m. So we have Viking basketball for you tomorrow night as well. Dan, you have some numbers for us on that 62-48 score?
Yeah, here's leading scores for Colfax tonight. Number 21, Ed Hajdukovic had 22 points to lead the team. Cole Seahaver had 12. Noah Hydorn and Drew Gibson had 8. Zach Ernie had 6. Noah Albrecht had 4. And Hunter Reebok had 4. For the Boyceville Bulldogs, their leading scorer tonight was their senior, number 14, Logan Knutson, with 20 points. They had Walker Retz and Trevor Hollister with 6. They had Brendan Sempf and John Clefstead with 5. They had Kate Clefstead with 4 and Connor Larson with 2.
And so the Vikings stay in the conference hunt. They're only a game out, and so they're right there. They're going to have their hands full on Friday when they take on Spring Valley, but hopefully they can come through that okay. We don't have another boys game on the Northern Light Webcasting Network until the end of February, but hopefully by that point we'll be able to talk about, and that'll be Spring Valley here. And right, so that ought to be an interesting ball game. But we do have a pretty important game coming up Thursday with the Viking girls at Elk Mound. That's also one that has a lot to do with the conference title. Vikings are 2 games up on the Mounders, and they'd like to stretch that to 3, but the Mounders would also like to close that gap and see if they can't make a race out of it. So it's going to be a pretty good game. And if you remember when they met here in Colfax, through the first half, we were chewing our nails down on that one. So If you can't make it over to Elk Mound, make sure you tune in right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network. So I guess that's when I'm going to see you next.
Yeah, we'll see you on Thursday night.
Thursday night over in Elk Mound, Vikings and the Mounders. So for Dan Petchow, this is Rick Olson. You've been listening to Viking Postgame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
What if I could tell you that a full-blown wildfire was going to occur tomorrow right where you live? Tell you exactly which neighborhoods it would engulf and how fast it would do it. The first thing you would do is talk with your loved ones and make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a wildfire will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you make a plan anyway? Visit readywisconsin.wi.gov and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait, communicate. Brought to you by Ready Wisconsin, FEMA, and the Ad Council.
You've been listening to Viking Postgame, a wrap-up of today's Colfax Viking boys game. You can catch Colfax Vikings games by tuning in to any of the Northern Light Webcasting Network outlets. This has been a production of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
Northern Light Webcasting Network is proud to present Colfax Viking basketball for the 2019-2020 season. Join us Thursday, January 23rd as the Viking girls take on the Elk Mound Mounders from Elk Mound. Viking pregame begins at 7 o'clock and live play-by-play begins at 7:10 right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network.